So we're now joined by the Permanent Secretary General of the Estonian Ministry of Defense, Mr. Kaimo. So thank you for speaking to us, taking out time from your schedule. There has been one constant, underlining number is the next year going up to 5.4% of the total GDP, which roughly comes down to approximately $2 billion US dollar. Correct me if I'm wrong. Somewhat
bit more, 2.5 billion euros. So it's even getting closer to $3 billion US dollars.
That's great. So when you talk about preparing for the conflict with Russia and preparing with this amount of approximately 2.5 to 3 billion US dollars, there has to be some sequencing as far as the priorities are concerned. Any of these priority areas we are looking at where the Indian companies you are looking at or can contribute? And my question comes to the backdrop of in last few years, India has been aiming and has been projecting to be the defense manufacturer on its own. One of the byproducts is to reduce the dependency on the Russian weapon system, which has been the legacy issue as far as the Indian Armed Forces are concerned. So are you looking at any of these systems where the Indian companies can come into the picture?
Thank you very much. 5.4% percent of GDP we will invest into defense, or as we call it, we invest into our own freedom. So we are looking for different layers. Air defense, we are looking at deep strike capabilities. We are looking to improve our sea capabilities as well. But if we are talking about the deep strike capabilities, we also talk about long-range artillery. We talk about ammunition. It's 155 caliber for the artillery, and in that sense, India is the one really good producer of the both artillery and also the ammunition. We are developing our defense industrial parks, and recently it was a deadline for applying to come to start production there. And among more than a dozen companies, there were also Indian participants actually to invest here to start to produce, let's call it, things we need in Estonia to defend. But let's see what's the competition, what the results will be. So the cooperation possibilities from air defense, ammunition, but also we are talking about drones. The drones, what we have seen in Russian aggression against Ukraine from the battlefield are led to be actually. So it's the really important new capability.
Okay, so when it comes to purchasing and developing these systems, the preference is not going to be like the conventional methods, specifically because you are an EU member as well and a NATO member as well. So no such priority sequence as far as the the weapon plans are concerned for the future. It's open for everyone who's not part of the EU and NATO as well.
Well, if we are talking about how to get resources for that, there's Estonian own taxpayers' money, and there's also possibilities to take a loan. Now, loans will be paid back also by the taxpayers, but you need first a bigger sum to purchase, procure equipment, and then pay back. So if we talk about getting this loan from EU tool called SAFE, then there are criteria which should be met actually to get this money from there. It's preferences, of course, built in Europe or in European factories, but there are chances to have some outside elements also in. What concerns how you will spend your own taxpayers' money, there's no limitations actually. There's free to choose with whatever offer is better, whatever offer is working in the long term as well. There's different criteria, interoperability, whether your neighbors have something similar actually. So if needed, you can change the spare parts with your allies. I'm not talking about all the neighbors, not Russia. It's another story.
Okay. Two quick follow-up sub-questions, I would say. India has also been projecting in last almost a decade about the Make in India aspect, and one of the major components of the Make in India, which primarily focuses on the manufacturing and the export from India point of view in defense domain. Are the Estonian companies, are the Estonian government, armed forces open from that front point of view as well? That co-development and co-production can take place in India, as has been the Indian defense ministries and the government of India's for last 10 decades slogan and the focus. Second, more than a dozen Indian companies having shown interest in the Estonian defense park, as you mentioned. Are these pure manufacturing here, or these co-developments, or just the entire system transfer of technology by the Indian companies to the Estonian manufacturers? What's the nature of it?
Starting from the second question, no, was not so many Indian companies. Among more than a dozen, there were some Indian companies actually. So we will see what their offer will actually bring here. Production here might be one option, co-production, joint ventures with booming.
That's not decided as yet.
Not yet.
Okay.
It was just a deadline last Friday, and we just
saw
that what the list is different. If you're talking about the booming Estonian defense industry, then they are seeking possibilities to